Hey,
Hi.
I feel like we both have had quite the day.
Quite the day. I got up this morning. I had to go to church, came back here and was eating my lunch and then realized I forgot my laptop. But
Well,
I had more of a crazy weekend versus day. On Friday, um, got a chance to um be or experience firefighters workshop. And I don't know if it was workshop, it was a training basically on how they go in and they rescue people from fires, like let's say in a small bedroom. And so we got to be, fully equipped. We had the heavy coat, the heavy pants, the heavy boots, the goggles, the gas mask that's attached to an air tank, and the helmet, all of which probably weighed, I think, an extra 30 pounds on top of, dealing with the fire and having to carry somebody out. The firefighters that do this work are amazing. And I just, I'm in such awe. I always was a big fan anyway, but having to do it myself and experience it was like, it was crazy. It gets like super hot in a room if there's an enclosed fire. Like, obviously the fire and the heat rises up. But the smoke, it kind of filters down slowly but surely. You can like literally see it, and the equipment that they use is so top notch, right? It's like you're breathing in good air, like you're air conditioned. And even though you have this fire and smoke surrounding you, I couldn't even tell with the until I actually got outside the building and took off the mask. Then the air was horrible. I started coughing. So
yeah.
yeah, and they demonstrated with us on how to rescue someone. Let's say if it was a kid, it was actually a dummy. They gave a scenario like a kid who falls into like a deep hole in a construction site. And so they showed us how they did that and then how they rescue people from cars with the jaws of life. So we got to use one of those machines. So it was really amazing. And then after that, hosted a town hall for people to talk about the budget. And then the next day, I did a community cleanup. Like literally, it was cleaning up a block of West Oakland that's experiencing a lot of illegal dumping. For those that don't know, so did a lot of cleanup on that. So I'm like sore, mainly from I think the firefighter experience, but also from cleaning the streets. Cleaning streets is definitely some hard work. So I have to give shout out to people that work for the city, whether they're doing um emergency first responder work, whether they're the ones maintaining the city, even down to people who look at the finances, because I had to work closely with people that do finance in order to do the budget town hall. I mean, everyone that works for the city of Oakland are amazing. So I'm shouting out to that. And then, came home and watched TV. So shout out to my couch because it was holding me down.
Yeah. I did not have that busy of a weekend, but today I was like on it. I was like, I'm about to just get everything done. I'm gonna have a good recap. I'm typing it, and then all of a sudden I get a text like our neighbors smell gas. And one thing about me is I watch Station 19, so I don't play around. So shout out to Oakland Fire Department because they got here. We called them. They got here in like less than 10 minutes. It was wild. The response, because we said we smell gas. They came, they used all these machines and equipment. They said we were fine, but they told us to call our gas company. But just like the response time of
Mhm.
making sure that we're good, I was like,
They
thank
are.
you. They're on it.
Yeah.
But it was like it took a while. So all of my resolve of like, I'm gonna do this. I really thought I was doing something. I woke up, I had a green juice. I just really thought I was like in there. I was like, this recap about to be good. Got some notes. No, no. So I wrote the recap in the last like 10 minutes after they left, right before we hopped on here. It was harrowing.
Ah!
All of my experience, like just went out the all of my like good vibes and chill went out the window. Um, but thankfully we are safe. So at least there's that. But my chill, my vibe, as Kendrick Lamar once said, please don't kill my vibe. My vibe was definitely killed.
Oh.
My vibe was killed, you know. But
Okay.
here we are. Here we are.
Here we are. I don't have a lot of notes, but I'm ready for this conversation.
Ooh,
Uh, because a lot happened on the
a lot
show.
happened. A lot happened. And I was mad about all of it. And it's so weird because I'm always like, when I like listen to recaps about any of the things I like, I'm always like, I want to listen to people who like what I like and
Mhm.
who aren't just complaining about it. So I had to go and be like, what did I like about the show this week? Because you remember last week I was like, everybody annoyed me. This
Right.
week, everybody annoyed me. Everybody annoyed me again. All my faves. I was like, what is happening? Um, but I did get some like laughs and things like that. So I'm definitely excited to have this conversation with you. Um, whew. So again, as always, this recap, even though I thought I was gonna be on top of it, I am not on top of it. Make sure you go to Soap Central to read their recaps because they have like in-depth day by day. You ready for my very poor recap?
I'm ready. Let's bring it. You
Okay.
remember more than what I know.
Um,
So,
Sunny and Michael make peace for their family. Joss is shocked that Michael isn't going to turn Sunny in, so she goes to Sunny and asks him to fire Dex. Joss, girl. Anyway, after realizing they couldn't be together, Robert and Holly share a last kiss, and Holly leaves town. I guess Diane wins Robert by default. Um, Mess. We find out the Scorpio brothers are after Selena Wu, Robert because of Holly, Mac because of Cody. And I just
mhm.
gotta say, this is very editorialized right now. I find it very annoying that Sonny is an arms dealer now, and Michael had to be the one who went after him. But the Scorpio brothers is going after Selena Wu. It's giving racism. I don't like it.
Ooh.
Anyway, speaking of Cody, your fave, he is getting a hero edit after threatening to streak during Sasha's home and heart appearance and bonding with James. Cody is supposed to sign an affidavit saying that he's Leopold Taub's son, so that he can sue the WSB. We all know he is not. He is Mac's son.
Right.
The WSB is still trying to recruit Curtis, but Curtis is busy taking paternity tests and cheating on his wife with Jordan. Um, Selena Wu, back to our fave, is threatening Gladys for losing her poker game.
Mhm.
Gladys is being a weirdo and might give Selena something on Dex while also not letting Sasha out of her guardianship. Ooh, they took Gladys backwards. Um, Esme was going to leave town with no money again, but gets an offer from Alexis to work at the Invader. Portia talking to anybody who will listen about how Trina and Spencer should not be together. And everybody is like, Portia, girl, chill. um, and Carly and Nina go at it for a round. I'm over it. That's all I got for the week. I'm sure more things happen, but those were my highlights or lowlights.
Yeah.
What was your favorite moment of the week?
I'm just thinking, I'm like, this week was hard for me. Favorite moment? I would have to say, um, just, and I'm actually
I
just
love how you're struggling with this. Go ahead. You're like favorite moment I liked. Woo. Please tell me.
I would I'm gonna have to say it's probably Taggart and Portia. Taggart just basically, giving her the real on one. Her focus on Trina is probably really about her fear of actually confronting what's happening with her marriage. That was kind of a standout to me for me. Um, yeah, there's a lot about this week that I did not like. I appreciate Sasha getting over her hang up, but really kind of not necessarily getting over her hang up, but just recognizing that what it was being tricked. Um, I enjoyed seeing, I didn't realize it was her, but I enjoyed seeing Jeannie Francis and Jonathan Frakes' daughter on the show.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
cute.
that was cute. But yeah, I mean, those were my moments. Little baby ones.
my my favorite moment of the week was Valentine making out with Anna's hand
Uh,
and looking at Robert while he was doing it.
that that was, and again, Robert insisting on calling him Valentin,
I'm like, Robert, why are you so disrespectful?
just busted in Anna's house in the middle of the night to be like, to one, the nerve to lecture her about going on some adventure. Like, weren't you thinking about your family, sir? And she's like, don't do that.
Don't do
I
that.
can go after the woman, the person I love. He did that too. He went after Holly, I think, when they first found out that she was kidnapped by Valentin. Not Valentin.
Listen, mm, Victor.
Robert went after, and took Olivia with him. So definitely hypocritical move on his part. Yeah. So but this week I wasn't even like a fan of Tracy's shenanigans either. Like Tracy manipulating Brooklyn and trying to get her back into her job. I wasn't really a fan of that either. So I'm mixing because we're supposed to be focusing on favorites, and now I'm back to things I did like.
Yep.
So sorry.
Let's go back to Vanna then, because I will say, here's what I loved about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Valentine knowing that Anna is in love with him has made him unstoppable. You can't bother him. He a little annoyed that Robert came through, but he was like, you know what, I'm gonna still make this sauce. I'm gonna still decanter this wine for me and Bay.
Right.
And we got so little of them, so little of them. But the little bit that we did of them was so good and so like, why aren't they on the front burner?
Yeah.
This is a
Similar.
favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. Similar to like Sam and Dante
Give it
and
to me.
Valentin. Yeah, they should be on front burner. Vanna should be on front burner. But here we get the mess of Cody and his shenanigans.
I can say, oh, this is gonna be a fun show because we are over it. Okay. Performer of the week. Good luck with that.
The real Andrews though, because I like seeing him on the screen, and I want to see more of him and more of Taggart.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping. I mean, we're gonna get Portia's brother coming soon. I'm hoping that doesn't mean that we're gonna see less of Taggart. I'm hoping we'll get to see that much more, especially as they're waiting for the DNA test, especially as he, kind of tries to, hold Portia back. Hopefully he'll find out, well, Maybe he'll find out about what Curtis is doing with Jordan. I don't know, but I just like seeing him on the screen. So,
Agree.
yeah.
I agree. I love seeing Rael. I am annoyed that we don't play up his history. Like he has such a deep history with the show.
Mhm.
And for me, like his history and his like placement as Trina's dad, I don't care what nobody said, that makes her a legacy character to me. And we don't get that. Like, so this is not me like saying anything against interracial relationships at all. Shout out to West Allen, that's my ship of all ships on the Flash. But one of the reasons that like soaps particularly have to do interracial relationships is because you always are trying to figure out how where people fit in within like the core families. And so that's why we had like the Wards come on and they were like connected to the Quartermains in the way that they were. And so, with Trina, it was like it's really special that she's going to be connected with the Cassidines in this way because it's a core family of the show. And I just really feel like it is missing to talk about the fact that she is also a legacy character with Taggart. Uh,
Mhm.
I was just like watching the other day Carly shooting AJ in open court, and I was like, oh yeah, she took Taggart's gun. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
him, like he was there for Lucky dying in the fire. Like he was there for like very, very big and like central stories of the show.
he was
And like
there when the kids were starting out, constantly harassing Sonny back in the day.
right.
Like he was a big part of the show, and I really hope that he continues to be.
And I feel like Sprina is very special and like sometimes I feel like there's almost an erasure of other couples that came before them because and it's not necessarily the fandom's fault. It is the fault of the show for not like reminding people that folks were important. So we get a lot of reminders of Sunny and Brendan. We get a lot of reminders of other like show like couples that have been kind of signature couples for the show. We don't get reminders of like Keisha and AJ or Keisha and Jason. We don't get reminders of Maya and Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so part of the reason like these couples are so special is because you are bringing together like core families of the show to be like, oh look, this is who we are together. Um and I think that the show does a disservice to like the people who watch it to like not remind us that these couples have existed before and to not build upon Black families. I'm really excited that Portia's brother is coming. I agree. I really hope that that doesn't like lessen because we really don't see Taggart anyway, and we should
Mm-hmm.
definitely see him more. And everything that I've seen from Rael's Instagram is that he's down to come. It's just the
Mm-hmm.
show doesn't use him, and so like, why is that? Um, I would love to see his relationship with Trina more. Like they talked about how they did like this whole, oh, we camped on the floor, we did this. I would love to see that, like to be able to see this like really beautiful relationship between a Black father and daughter would be
Mm-hmm.
amazing. And we just don't. I feel like, yeah, I would just love to see more of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had great scenes with Trina. He had great scenes with Portia. Um, he knocked it out of the park this week. So my performer of the week.
Here you go, Rael.
Thank
I will also say other good performances. I thought uh Sophia did good. I mean, we love her as always. We always shout her out. Um, and despite kind of offstage controversy, I actually thought Molly did really good with the endometriosis story. I think it's gonna be strange because we get new Christina next week. And then we get Temp Molly for however long that is happening. So we're gonna be like really starting the story with
two
care,
different people,
yeah, with people we don't know. Um,
right?
so I mean, we'll see. We'll see if that means that they end up using
Yeah.
Alexis and Sam more.
Do you really think they're gonna go with that story of Christina carrying, Molly and TJ's baby?
I don't know, but I do feel like there was something on the horizon of that family getting a little bit more.
Huh?
Uh, Now, granted, there is a writer's strike, and it looks like the actors might go on strike, so we don't know what's gonna happen. Uh,
Oh yeah. I didn't know that the actors.
yeah, they vote. I think their certification vote to see if they go is early next week. It might actually be Monday. So
I've been hearing a lot of chatter about the fear of AI, and so, but I didn't know it was that serious.
yeah. So anyway, let's move on. Tanya, what's working for you?
Well, I mean, even though I guess what's working for me was, you know, the story around, our Black families. They were that I think that was just probably the most intriguing story for me this whole week. You know, Trina trying to navigate telling her in her mind, her real dad, that she's going to go for a paternity test. That had some emotional weight for her, for Curtis, and for Taggart. Um, the story, even though I hate Curtis for doing this, but the story between Curtis and Jordan, kind of rekindling a little bit, was compelling on the end of for me from Jordan's end. Um, Portia being really intent on bringing down Spencer. Again, she had a couple of scenes not only with Taggart, but also with Ava, and she's just telling her worry to everybody. Like she's super concerned and super fixated on it. And even then, even though we didn't really get to see like a full on conversation about it, but we got to see Sprina this week, and we got to see Spencer being Spencer when it comes to trying to harass a nurse over some test results. And Trina, keeping her cool but keeping focused. So I mean, I loved being able to see them all this week. The storylines are a little but being able to see them is great. And so they continue to work for me, and I hope it gets expanded.
Yeah. Um, I thought what was interesting was the best kind of Sprina moments were the moments where they knew that or like that Portia was like watching. I
Right.
laughed a bit when Spencer was like touching her hair. I was like, don't be touching her hair now, Spencer. don't, don't do that.
Alone. I think he needs a lesson.
So I laughed a little bit about that. I thought and I kind of contrasted because I thought the moment with them earlier during the week or earlier where they were like sitting on the bench and like Trina's like purse was in between them. And I was like, wait a second. These are like two teenagers who have been in love forever and they're finally able to be together. Like let them play that out. Let like I want constant hand holding and all of that. And so I really did enjoy the pieces of that we got when Portia was watching. And that
Yeah.
is, I think, what worked for me is for me, I was kind of laughing about seeing myself in both Joss and in Portia in different stages of life. Because I was like watching Joss be so extra this week for her boyfriend, and I was like, woo, I see myself in this picture and I don't like it. Because when you're like 19, and I'm not saying I like this behavior, like I was annoyed, but when you're like 19 and you have your first little awakening and that's your man, you act real stupid. So
Hella stupid. Hella,
I'm
it's like,
saying,
what possessed her to go to Sunny?
what possessed you to do all of this, girl? But it's also like for me kind of funny because it's very realistic. And I
Right.
think that because I'm like a little bit older, I don't like, and I've seen Joss and like all these other characters grow up. I don't look at them as like what I think they should do. I look at them and be like, oh yeah, that's realistic. So
Well,
being,
yeah, it reminds me of Lulu when she was first dating Dante and
yeah,
getting all up in the middle of this trial, and like almost as if Dante and her were both the cops in the situation and interfering, telling Carly what to do and all this other stuff. I'm like, you need to stay out of this, little Lulu. And now here's Josh doing the same thing. Being like, I want you to let him go and blah blah blah. I'm like, uh-uh. No, 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 no. This you need to step back.
I mean, it's a little different for
It's a
me,
little
but I get
different.
what you're saying. No, 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 no. I completely get what you're saying. And now you're like making me rethink because I hated when Lulu did that. But
Yeah.
it just like makes me laugh a little bit about like how when you're that young and that age and you get you a little man,
Right.
you get real stupid.
And they come with some energy, right? With the stupidness. Like just like I have every right to tell you what to do when it comes to my man, and you need to listen.
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I just laughed at like all I could do was be like, Josh, girl, what you doing? But again, when you're that age, I know for myself when I was that age and I had a little boyfriend who I thought I was in love with, you couldn't have told me nothing different. I was so dumb. And so I'm just like, I am in this picture. I don't like it. I'm about to report the soap for looking into my life. And then on the flip side, just being, I'm not a mother and I'm not as old as Portia, but being like old like Portia and being like, Portia is doing too much. But it was my mom was doing that too. When I had like a little boyfriend that she didn't like, she acted so extra. And what's so funny is if you can't see this as a parent, but if you let your kid just like play things out, it'll play itself out. But Portia is so fixated on like saving Trina from the Cassidines and from Spencer. It is like her just like her watching them so
Right.
funny. I'm interested to see what she does. Like it's clear she's about to be scheming.
Yeah, it sounded like she actually had a plan of something. Like she was going to get rid of. I'm like, what are you going to do? Like, what? I'm just like she knew that she had a foolproof plan to get rid of Spencer, and I just like what? Like, what? I
I'm
mean,
like, Portia, you over here trying to talk about worry about Spencer when literally your man got his tongue down somebody else's throat, okay? Like, like, but it just like made me laugh because like, obviously like we like Sprina and we're like, what is the next thing gonna be for them? Like, what's the obstacles? What's the love? What's this? What's that? But at the same time, as like an aunt, not as a mom, but as an aunt, I wouldn't want my niece with Spencer and them either. I'd be like, oh, they crazy over there. We got to get over. We got to go. Like I found out my niece hopped on a boat to follow this boy and almost got blown up. And they got pathogens. Oh no, we done here. You gotta go find you.
we're done here.
You gotta go find you a little warrior boy. You know what I mean? So it's like for us, we're like, yes, we love it. We love the best. We love whatever. We love like the kind of over the top and like these big booming love stories. And I think when you have a parent who is like, no, we don't like these big booming love stories, it brings it a little bit down to earth. Like, yeah, there's boats that blow up, but there's also mamas who looking over your shoulder like, girl, we're done. And I actually, as a viewer, really like the dichotomy. Like I like whatever Victor is planning in this will while Portia is like, no, girl. Um, both of those things are really important for me as a viewer to like have some grounding. So I really like both of those things.
Yeah,
Joss and Portia, my messy messes.
messy. Another scene I thought was funny was when she was actually hovering while Spencer was opening the envelope. and just all up in their business. I was like, girl, like that's not your business. Whatever is on the envelope. She was trying to figure it out herself. I'm like, she needs to back up. That was funny.
Spencer ain't gonna never have no business and Portia ain't all up in. Okay. Like,
So what is not working for you?
I'll let you go first because I already know.
I don't understand why he has to be in the mix. Why is he having conversation with Maxie's child? Why did Lisa let him sit at the table and talk to the point? James don't need to know Cody. They made up that, like, James didn't look like he cared about any of it, much less a horse. He was, but he was like, yeah, I'm afraid of horses. I don't want to ride a horse. Then all of a sudden it's like flip the switch. Now he's inviting him over for a Sunday. Cupcakes. Can he come over and have a cupcake? Unbelievable. I don't like did not like it. And why is he a hero? Because he's gonna go and say, oh, I'm gonna streak across this television show. So that will actually probably increase ratings. But instead they were freaked out about that and decided to turn off the little baby, which was stupid. But anyway, I didn't like it. Did not like it. And you know why I really don't like it? Because at the same time, he's trying to, he's gambling and he's about to embezzle, or he's gonna try to embezzle some money that don't belong to him. He's still trying to fake being Taub's son and get so he can have money. He's still all about the money. And yet they're trying to make him out to some sort of hero.
It was all week. Me and Sandra were watching, and we were like, Tanya's gonna hate it.
I hate it. I hated it all.
So I was gonna text you, but I was like, I don't know if you're binging. I was like, Tanya's gonna hate it.
It was like, yeah. It was like my fast forward button was going overdrive. Not.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't like it. Did not like it.
Well, what's not working for me is like really in line with what's not working for you, but it's really just the propping.
Yes.
And like, it's a soap opera, so there's always going to be a certain level of propping that is required, right? It should be like mutually beneficial. It should be so like for example, Cody saving the day for Sasha, completely unnecessary.
Right.
That wasn't about Sasha. That was about Cody. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so it was like, instead of writing him as a better person, I actually would have liked for him not to have saved the day at all. I would have liked for him to have shown up to save it, but then like Brooklyn or Lucy had already done it. Because like, I love when sang a while ago about women doing it for themselves. Like it actually was no need to like make Cody this like knight in shining armor when like women have been doing everything themselves. I'm fine, like I said, like if he would have shown up and seen nothing, like he wasn't necessary, that's different. But to like put him in the middle of it, unnecessary propping.
I mean, Sasha was actually figuring out herself that this was not a hallucination. So she could have come, like, it would have been so great if all of a sudden she's like, you know what? I have annoying buzz in my ear, so I'm going to take this earphone off
Exactly.
and then move on. That's all she had to do. He didn't have to threaten to, like, no one wants to see you with your shirt off.
I hated it. But then the other thing, and I talk about this every week, which is the propping. As I'm sorry if you're watching, my allergies are going crazy. So I'm like all in my eye. But Sunny, the propping of Sunny is out of control, and I am exhausted by it. I think that part of what is the most irritating to me is like the over the top kind of like hate for Carly, which like if you hate mob characters, like I'm not tripping. Like it's people who would rather see Liz or who would rather see like Anna or other characters, and that is completely fair. But if you hate Carly, but you don't hate Sunny, I got some questions. You know what I mean? Like, I like and Sunny keeps getting put in these positions. So like, it's very clear to me that there were Jex rewrites, Joss and Dex rewrites to prop Sunny. So the idea that Sunny like knew about them and was like fine with it, ridiculous. That was clearly a rewrite. This idea that even like Joss and Michael's problems with him are about him. They're actually like hits at both of their characters and props at Sunny to be like, oh, look how mean his family is to him. All he wants to do is help. So when Joss comes in and she's like, would you do anything for me? He's like, I told you I'd do anything for you, regardless to how you treat me. Get out of here, Sunny. You're a grown man. Who cares about
Right.
his like stop it? It was just it's like a selling out again. Like a lot of people don't like Michael, that's fine. A lot of people don't like Josh, that's fine. But it's a very clear selling out of their characters and their stories and the undermining of them to like prop up Sunny. So like this idea that like Michael shouldn't have beef with Sunny is absurd. And instead of actually writing real beef, the real beef that they should have with Sunny, they're like they won't write it. Like they won't do it. So Sunny should have found out about, or not Sunny, Michael should have found out about Brad. And that should have been part of the beef. We already saw that like Sunny's life has been dangerous for the kids. Like, I don't know what happened to him taking a step back from Nina or him taking a step back from his kids while he had to like up his security, whatever that was, is no longer there. That's a Sunny prop. So it's like, oh, let's just do some stuff, but like let's get rid of it. Let's not like really make it part of the story. I'm tired of it. I don't know. What do you think about that while I try to take care of my eye?
Sorry. I put myself on mute because somebody's drumming downstairs. But
Very
um
okay.
okay. So yeah, I think always it's always going to be problematic that they tend to prop Sunny all the time, especially like I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago where I had this fantasy that he's actually not a arms dealer, but he is. So and there's still like there's no even hint that he's trying to fool somebody or doing it for a different reason. He's going full all in and he's like handing cash to Dex for what? Like Dex was doing his job. He wasn't doing anything extra. So why are you handing cash to him? Giving Gladys a reason to think something's going down. And I don't know. I just
It's so that he can take Josh out on a proper date because then he's so nice.
oh
But
oh
like that's what I'm saying. Like it just kind of like doesn't make sense. So like this idea, look, of course it made zero sense for Josh to go to Sunny and be like, let my man free. But also this idea that Sunny would have just let Dex free. Like that's not how mob stuff has ever worked.
no.
You know what I'm saying? So like it's almost like it's almost undermining the stakes in Dex and Josh's relationship to be like,
Mhm.
look, Sunny's not a bad guy. So
Right.
like Sunny gets to just do like these one-off like awful things and nobody brings them up. Not on screen. Like it's never so it's like or the people who bring it up are kind of the usual suspects. So like even Dante knew that Michael wasn't lying about uh about Sunny putting Dex on a meat hook.
Yeah.
And that's
But
just like nothing.
right.
I don't know. It just for me, it's like it continues to be frustrating because they've built this world around him. And like the mob is the mob is the mob. Like let him be that character. Like it is what it is. But they've essentially like built what morality is around him. So like I was like looking kind of on Facebook and people were like, well, why wouldn't Dex just want to keep working for Sunny? Because Sunny is a mobster.
Right.
Dex is not. Dex was hired to bring the mom down, not to work in it. Like it's almost like people forget that Sonny is not just like a random and regular coffee importer. You know, or like this idea, oh well, Sonny's been so good to Joss. Joss's um Joss's childhood was hell because Carly was with Sonny. Part of the reason that Cam and Trina got close was because Joss was under lockdown because of Sonny. And let's not forget, Joss is not rich because of Sonny. Sonny has not afforded Joss any lifestyle but went on lockdown. Because when Carly was broke, Joss said, "Do you need to borrow from my trust fund?" That's why that whole waitress named Trixie line from Dex was funny, because it's like, Dex, Joss is rich, baby. Okay. like she not about to be no waitress. She about to cash out that trust fund and then y'all can go. Um yeah, it just really annoyed me. And like I said, just kind of like when Michael was there, he was like, I want to stop this war between us. And Sonny was like, well, the war, like it's never been my war. Actually, you threatened Michael many times.
Right. All the time. And he was like, the last time, even in the flashback that Michael was having, he said, I'm never gonna forgive this. You're gonna have to come begging.
Yeah,
And Michael didn't really do much begging. He just said, I'm willing to let you come into the hospital. As long as you don't threaten Nina. He didn't come begging.
yeah.
Yeah. So Sonny just he does that a lot. He puts a lot of threats behind. He's like, you've pissed me off. This is one too far, and you're gonna have to come begging, and I'm cutting you off, and blah blah.
It's absurd. It's absurd.
Right.
And like I said, cropping is going to happen in stories all the time, right? I think that there are people who are frustrated um, because they feel like people prop Carly, like that they feel like some of the beef with Nina like is a Carly prop or whatever. And that's whatever. I don't necessarily have to feel that way, but it's fair that people could feel that way. But this idea that Sonny is not constantly being propped and it's over the top and it's annoying. Sonny,
Right.
and I said this many, many times, is the reason that Nina's character has suffered. And this week it just really came to a head, and I saw it so clearly in the whole thing with Michael and Joss. It was just bad. Anyway, and it didn't work for me. It didn't work for me.
Did not work.
Do you have hot takes?
Ooh, let me see. For those of you who don't know, I'm working off my phone today because, as I said before, I left it at work, my computer at work. So that's why my video might be shaking back and forth because I'm toggling between apps. So, I had a hot take. Nina, I was like super annoyed. So first, Nina continued with her apology tour with Carly, and actually went over to the house to continue the discussion. And at first, she's like, I apologize, I'm sorry, can you help me? And Carly was like, okay, I won't stand in your way, but I'm not going to advocate for you if Willow has to decide whether or not she wants you in your life. But if she decides she doesn't want you in your life, I'm not going to advocate for you. And as soon as Nina heard that, here's the thing. As soon as Carly nods her head a little bit, Nina just jumps into conclusions and is like, okay, so I want you to plan a phone call for me, and then maybe we can do a visit, and then all this other stuff. I'm like, no, Carly's not going to do that. What are you thinking? I think it's enough for Carly to be like, okay, I'm going to take a step back. But did you honestly think that Carly was going to set up phone calls and visits for you? She
She was
is not
not
willing.
on a play date.
Yeah, like it was a play. Like Willow is 10 years old. Like, no, Willow, no. So I was just like, Nina, can you actually take what you can get? But no, she gets all salty and was like, I knew you weren't going to help me. I knew you were this and this and this. I'm like, girl. And then you have, I was just like, she has a lot of gall. So I was like, Nina, I was yelling at my TV, Nina, take what you can get. So yeah. I mean, I was giving her pops at first last week, but just that quick. I got to take it back.
I think that the thing that people like about Nina is the thing I find the most triggering about her. And I had to like really come to like I had to really understand like, oh, the reason I don't like Nina is because she triggers me. Because what she does is just like some of the most heinous shit. And then all of a sudden she drop a couple tears and she makes you feel bad for her. And even sometimes I get caught up in that and I'm like, oh, this is triggering because this is like what white women have always done,
Right.
especially rich ones. Like you have just been a complete monster. So I didn't even understand. I was one of the people who was like, why is she even going to Michael Sunny's house or Sunny? Why is she going to Carly's house to apologize? I didn't think an apology was necessary because like these two women have been at each other's throats over and over again over many things. I don't really know what she would need to apologize for between the two of them, um, given their tit for tat.
Right.
I would have rather seen her say, I want to go come and make peace. I want to like leave the past in the past. And I think for me, that would have like helped me see their situation a little bit differently. So I wasn't a fan of the apology piece either, because I didn't think she needed to. And this is like obviously as a Carly fan. But I
Right.
also didn't think that it's Carly's job to set up these things with Nina or for
Right.
Nina and Willow. Because one of the things that Sam said about Willow that I appreciated was that, oh no, she's strong. Like she can do these things for herself. In the same way, she had a relationship with Harmony, like without caring who has something to say about it. She will have a relationship or won't have a relationship with Nina without based on who said what. But there is again, and we've talked about this. The show will do the storytelling work of reminding you of what they want to remind you of, and to pretend like Willow doesn't have a laundry list of reasons why she doesn't mess with Nina is wild to me. Even people were like mad when Nina or like when Willow had asked Nina to leave Carly alone. They're like, why did she ask like Carly? I really felt she did that because she was like, Nina, your beef with Carly is about me, and I
Mhm.
don't want it to be.
Right.
That's how I took that. And but Nina has done awful things to Willow. And like said awful things about her, treated her poorly, made assumptions about her, made assumptions about Michael. She was out here telling people she was cheating with TJ. Every time Michael and Sunny would have a moment where like they were gonna create some kind of peace that Nina knew about, she would always walk in the middle of it. She did that at the Metro Court during Brando's services. She did it again when they were in the funeral home or in the chapel when Michael was inviting Sunny to the wedding. Every time Michael and Sunny are about to make any sort of peace or have any kind of conversation, Nina walks dead in the middle of it. This looks like sabotage, and so like I think that to people who like Nina, that isn't what that looks like. They're like, well, she left her purse or whatever, you know. But
It was a plot device.
right, but like you know what I mean. Like they don't see it as like being purposeful. And for me, who has like seen Nina through and remembered her from what Michelle did, like for me, that's the same character. And what they've done and what they continue trying to do with Nina is like when they switched actresses, they were like, let's take all the things that we like and like give them to Cynthia, but all the things that we don't like, let's forget about them. And that's why it doesn't work.
Well, I don't think I think I tolerated what I didn't like about Nina because of Michelle Stafford. Cynthia Watros is a different kind of actress. Whereas I don't equate her being a busy, nosy, evil person as entertaining as I do when I see it when Michelle Stafford does it. Because they're just two different actresses. So even though I did think Nina was being really mean to Willow at the time, I was team Valentine and Nina. So I was like, okay, Nina can be a bitch to Willow because, Nina's just trying to be, an awesome mom to Charlotte. So, and she was being overprotective. Yeah, she was being bitchy. It's all right. But now with Cynthia Watros, I'm just like, no, I don't like it. And, especially the whining and the crying and the, oh, you need to be nice to me. Because that's something that Michelle Stafford never did.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle's Nina didn't really care if she had the approval of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I need you to forgive me. I need you, all this stuff. So I think maybe that's the difference for me. Yeah.
I've never liked Nina. I actually thought she was awful
Yeah.
under like the Michelle reign of Nina. I hated how she treated Willow. I think that what was the thing that stuck me the most was okaying Charlotte bullying Aiden when it looked like they were going to be taking Aiden through a storyline about being queer. That's like the direction it looked like they were going.
They
And
probably thought it wasn't going to work.
yeah, I mean, or I don't know what happened with it, but that looked like the direction that the story was going. And then all of a sudden, like Nina was like essentially okaying Charlotte's bullying. That was like too much, or just like, and it was like very clear that they were like telling the story of Nina being Willow's mom, and so they were kind of like ramping up the extra to do, or like ramping up the evil to do that reveal, and it didn't happen. And so what happened was they like ramped it up and then they kind of plateaued it because that wasn't the story they were telling anymore. And so then they ramped it up again. Oops, sorry. What was that? They ramped it up again to do the Willow reveal this time. And so when they ramped it up again to do the Willow reveal, it was even worse because this is the second time they had done the ramp up, and it was just like poor storytelling. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, ugh, this is really bad because we've seen this, and it feels like you always do this to her when it really was only supposed to be like kind of one arc of it.
Mm.
But as far as, and I said this before, as far as like Carly or like Nina being Carly's rival, if you go back and watch Nina's arc, Nina has just never been that girl. I'm definitely down for Carly to have a rivalry. I was like actually talking with some people the other day, and we were like looking at like when Robin slapped Carly. It's like when Sam beat up Carly. Like there are times and people and places for people to be rivalries, but that's because to some people Robin is that girl. To some people Elizabeth is that girl. To some people Sam is that girl. To me, Sam is that girl. Nina has never been that girl. Nina has always been second place, jealous, cheated on, pathetic. You know what I mean? Like but that's not like that's just always been the way they've portrayed her. And so then they were like, okay, well, we need to build her up as this rival to Carly and not actually take her through the arc that she needed to go through. And then I'll say this one last time and then I'll be quiet. Carly is not the problem, and Carly is not the reason that Nina has not been taken through her proper arc. Sunny is the reason that Nina hasn't been taken through her proper arc, because they could not have Sunny leaving his family for somebody going through a redemption arc.
Mm.
And, that's not about Carly, that's about Sunny. Anyway, I took over your hot take. Do you have another one?
Oh, I had one, but you don't want to take turns. I can go next.
Yes, no, I took over. I talked too much on your hot take. So please go to your next one.
Um, I didn't talk about this. Was also actually another favorite scene that I had was between Diane and Holly. Um, Mainly because, well, Holly was trying to be, I think she was trying to show that, like feel like she had the power over this triangle, like she could one up Diane on this. But what I liked about Diane's response to her was just like, you know, yeah, I see you have this relationship. I ain't about to chase this man, but also seeing clearly through that Holly wasn't going to actually win. So it was an interesting dynamic how Diane was actually being how she is best in the courtroom in this relationship in this confrontation with Holly. I thought it was highly entertaining. I loved it. And her parting shot at the end where Holly was like, well, she was like, maybe, we'll see each other in court. And Holly was like, oh, yeah, maybe you can be my defense attorney. Or, I wouldn't trust anybody else. And Diane's like, you shouldn't trust. I would, because nor should you, because, I'm the best. And so I loved it. It was one of my favorite moments, at least enough for me to actually write it down.
um, yeah, I'm interested to see how many people are like Team Diane versus Team Holly. I know that Robert and Holly were supposed to be like some super couple back in the day. I was not watching during that time, so every time that Holly pops up, she's just annoying to me. Like,
Right.
I don't have the history of who she is to like be endeared to her. Like, the first
Mhm.
time I met Holly, I think, is when she didn't give the antidote for the epidemic that was going through the hospital. And I was like, who is this? Like, what is
Yeah,
this?
I mean, she was even that incident was just a blip. I don't even remember she was involved. Um, so, um, but yeah, I mean, I think it's a mood now. I think Holly said goodbye. So, and I saw in the soap opera digest or whatever magazine that you had sent that she was leaving, like she was in the coming and going, and so she's in the going column. So, um, hopefully that little interlude is over. But I loved how Diane dominated it. So kudos.
Yep. Um, I had two things about propping. One, like continue that conversation. We need to see Sante be beyond propping these people. Like having Sante, like having Dante have to come prop Sunny to Michael. No, I'm not interested. Give Sante a story,
Mm-hmm.
a good one that's about them, that has their point of view. Because I'm tired of just seeing them being in the background for other people. There's something around like episode counts, right? Like I have a Emmy, friend of the show, Emmy, like had posted episode counts.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go through some of them. So Nicholas Chavez, this is for the years at 64. Maurice Bernard is at 63. Cynthia Watros is at 61. Jenny Francis is at 56. Tabiana and Laura are both at 54. Eden is at 53. Chad is at 52. Katie McMullen is at 48. And then like the next one under that is Becky Hertz is at 46. Donnell at 45. Anyway, I'll stop there. And like if they already are at like the top levels, but also everybody is always talking about them. So like it's not just that when they're on, but it's when they're off, they're on. I'm over it. Heal Willow or don't. Send her home. Get it over with. Girl been having cancer since last year. It's May. We're tired. We're tired. I'm over it.
Yeah. And I don't even know, like, is she still just going through radiation and recovering, or is she actually getting the transplant now?
She has to go through chemo to get her body ready to get the transplant.
Right. So she's still, but I'm just wondering, like, is she still in that ready mode? Because I know
I don't.
Liesel, as you know, Lisa was already given her bone marrow, popped back up, and was able to give wonderful words of wisdom without so much as a "I need to take a nap after." I mean, it was fun. I mean, so that's
And now she's at the diner having ice cream.
right, having ice cream with her with Jane. So I Willow, I mean, I don't know. It takes a while, obviously, to recover from cancer and chemotherapy. But I don't know how many treatments is she getting, or was it just a 1 day of chemo and then the bone marrow transplant, or is it like a whole week of chemo? I don't know.
Well,
But yeah,
Dom is at 41 episodes, and essentially all his episodes have been him just like propping up Sunny, propping up Michael, talking about Willow and Michael, being at work. Like it's like a 5 second cute ass Sante break and nothing for the two of them.
right.
Tired of it. I am tired. Give Sante a story. Give it to him now. I've had enough.
She's had enough, y'all. Frank,
I'm gonna get up here and say it. Frank, text me. I have so many ideas for stories for Sante.
text her, Frank.
I think we've only seen Sante have one love scene.
No, it was New Year's
I
and
think they were in bed, but that wasn't like a love scene.
right when they went traipsing off to England. Yeah, it wasn't a look.
I'm annoyed. I'm tired of it. Anyway, next hot take.
Um, I love seeing Selena Wu. Okay, I love her. I did not like the point where she was trying to interfere with Curtis's DNA test. I kind of felt like that was taking it a little too far in the personal meddling. I don't mind her manipulating his business aspect, or trying to see if he wanted to go to the WSB and trying to manipulate that. But getting in the way of the DNA test with Trina and his daughter, I felt like that's too much, Selena. So I think, Selena, you need to slow your roll on that. You know, bilk him for however much money you want, strip him dry, make him broke, take over his club. Do that. Do it. Stay out of the Trina thing.
I agree with that. Again, more Sunny propping. He's not that bad doing arms dealing because look at Selena Wu over here. Anyway, um, what are we doing with Spencer? What's going on? I don't like it. I remember like Kid Spencer. I've been a fan of this character since Nicholas Betchel was the character. Obviously cared about the character of Spencer even from like when he was born and all of that. Because I'm a fan of Nicholas Cassadine up until, you don't even have to talk about what happened to Nicholas Cassadine. But this like behavior, like this like talking down to like the black nurse. I was actually surprised that Trina didn't check him. That like surprised me. Um, this like yeah, one of the things that I've always liked about Spencer and about Sprina is that Trina always caused Spencer to self-correct. That it wasn't even that she had to check him, the very thought of Trina checked him. And he was able to like put a lot of stuff behind or say, prioritize and say what mattered and what didn't matter because of Trina. And for whatever reason, they've left that behind. And I don't like it. So when they had their scene and he was like talking about Esme, that scene should have been about Trina and her paternity test and her dad's. And I liked when they got to the point where like, oh, we both are in this together and all of that. But that is actually not the part for me that makes Sprina special. What makes Sprina special is that no matter what, Spencer can be pulled back into his tracks and say, oh wait, how am I like making sure that Trina feels important?
Mm.
So I think about the episode, like I don't know, it was classic Sprina when Trina found out about Curtis and Portia's affair. And then he was like being a brat, essentially, to Cameron. And then he saw Trina and it was just like cut off in his tracks. Oh my God, what can I do for you? You look up. That is what I, as a viewer, want to see from Sabrina. Because Spencer is spoiled and all of these things, but the like redeeming qualities that he has is being able to check himself for both Trina and Laura. And lately, we have not been able to see him do that.
Yeah, I think he's just so intent on getting Ace away from Esme that he's kind of reverting back to his mean boyness. And I think Trina right now is so sprung that she's not checking him the way that she usually does. Um, which is interesting. Like she's being a lot more forgiving of his bad attitude.
Mm-hmm.
No, Ed was like, you don't have to fight my battles for me. Like I can take care of myself. But she wasn't really appalled over his behavior as she has been over previous times. So um that's an interesting dynamic now that she's in love with him. She's letting him get away with stuff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and
You
the thing,
know
oh, I'm
what?
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Huh? That's one thing I have to give them props. They are definitely showing how sprung they are over each other. Because
Mm-hmm.
now each other get away with some stuff.
Yeah, it's just very important to me that Trina remains like a character that has like stuff going on.
Right.
So like Spencer's always gonna have, I mean, Nicholas Chavez is like number one of the episode counts. Spencer's always gonna have Cassadine stuff, and he's gonna have Corinthos stuff if they play that, and he's gonna have Sabrina stuff, right? I don't want all of Trina's stuff to be Sabrina stuff.
Mhm.
I would like to see Trina back at the gallery working with Ava. I would like to see her put on another exhibit. I would like to see her in class. I would like to hear her talk about, oh yeah, this like really crazy thing happened, but I still got made the dean's list. Like it's just very important to me that Trina is a character within this relationship, but that the relationship is not her entire character. Because one of the things that made them special as they came together is that we already loved Trina. And so then they brought on Spencer, and we were like, oh my God, these two dynamic characters together is very special. And so I want to make sure that they both remain dynamic characters.
Um, my next one, or is it your turn?
All you.
Okay. My next one is about Curtis. Another one. So I was like, geez Louise, Curtis. I wrote this down. Geez Louise. Geez Louise, Curtis. You yourself and decide who you love and stay with them. because you're turning into another Ridge Forrester. You are the Black Ridge Forrester of General Hospital. And for those who don't know, Ridge Forrester on Bold and the Beautiful flip flops between two women. He's been doing it for years. And so now we're getting Curtis doing the same thing. And his whole reason for breaking up with both Portia and Jordan is because he felt that they betrayed him. Yet he's willing to get over it to an extent when he wants a little nookie with Jordan. So he needs to just make up his mind and stop flip flopping. Or else I'm gonna start calling him Black Ridge Forrester.
Yeah, and then Taggart brought up that Portia that Jordan had helped Portia with Trina.
Right.
And so the painful thing that we're probably going to be about to see is Jordan or is Portia just being like, Jordan, thank you so much for everything.
Realized how instrumental you were in helping my daughter with the trial, and now with saving her life on Spoon Cassadine Arctic Island. And so I just want to come and thank you for that. And then in the back of her mind, Jordan's like, yeah, but I'm about to steal your man. So I don't know, and I don't know
And
how.
Portia be like, here's my brother, you should meet him.
Right. And I don't know if Jordan's actually gonna be honest and be like, okay, by the way, me and your man has kissed at least 3 times, and he was about to bed me down, but I told him to slow his roll. So, yeah.
And where were they about to go?
Huh?
Where was Curtis about to take her?
He was like, let's get out of her. I think he was. Yeah, where is he staying? Because he's not staying at home. He's staying at the hotel. Everyone's staying at the hotel, so that's probably where he's at.
Yeah, Nina probably gave him a room.
Right. Um, yeah, that would have been awkward.
Having these two beautiful, accomplished women fighting over Curtis is my villain origin story.
I mean, and that's what it's same thing with Bold and Beautiful and Ridge Forrester. He has the two hottest ladies on the show fighting over this man, embarrassing themselves. And now he's doing it to Curtis, like Curtis is doing it to Portia and Jordan. Jordan is too beautiful, smart, powerful woman, being the police commissioner, bygones on that. But still, always looking fly, about her business. She does not need to be chasing after no Curtis, who is a pseudo gambler. But
Neither does my girl Portia. She was walking around looking amazing in that orange.
yeah,
Go get you a new man.
the lead doctor at General Hospital. I don't know what her focus is, her specialty is, because she does a little bit of everything. But she's like one of the go-to doctors. Worrying about Curtis.
Go have an affair with TJ. Um, sorry.
Ooh.
We'll just be beautiful together. Anyway, not important. Not my problem. Not my point. Um, Esme.
What about her?
If they don't get her out my face, Esme, Esme. First of all, sit your broke ass down. You stay lugging around your toddler, okay? This big ass baby. You stay lugging him around. Also, baby Ace, how cute. Did you see when he waved at Alexis?
Oh, I didn't see that.
It was a part where Alexis was like saying something like hi or whatever, and Avery waved, or Esme waved, and then baby Ace waved. It was so cute. I was like, you cutie that shouldn't even exist. I love it. But yeah, girl, you ain't got no money. And then just like it's a constant. When I see her talk bad to Sam, I said, "Oh no, we're not doing that, ma'am. You leave my Samantha alone."
You're just like her, Cassadot.
First of all, Sam's shoulders are tired because all she does is carry all these scenes she's in. Okay, she's tired. You leave her alone. First of all. Second of all, watch your mouth. Be grateful.
Right.
In a word, let's quote Kendrick Lamar again. Sit down. Be humble. What is going on here?
I got my trust.
Handing you jobs that you ain't qualified for, and you got an attitude about it.
You ain't got no trust fund. And that little $80 that Laura gave you last week is not gonna last you at all.
She wants access to a trust fund that she supposedly has. And then I'm tired of her being like, well, people say I did. People say I did. Girl, you did it.
You did those things.
And this is another thing. I am tired of the like erasure of her behavior. I'm tired of it.
Let us know if she remembers or not, GH.
I don't even care if she do. Because one of the things that they've already set up for us with Laura is that even if she doesn't remember, it doesn't completely change her personality.
Right. She still has the same personality.
And we saw that brattiness coming through.
Right.
Her and Spencer having baby mama, baby daddy arguments at the hospital, and he ain't even a baby daddy. You are the baby brother, okay? You are the brother.
He's like, wherever you go, I'm gonna be there. Sir, you got a woman.
You have a woman.
Hey, you need to stop. Because Trina ain't gonna move across the world with you.
Or she might. Again, you
Oh,
know, at that age. We
oh
get
yeah. Portia really don't want her to. She's Spencer's gonna chase that baby around the world, and I will never see my daughter again. You're right.
you know. So I don't, Esme, shut up. And talk about, look, again, the word of the day is propping. You got Trina propping Esme when she was like, well, I don't feel. Do not make my Trina say this. That's my last hot take. Anything else from you? I was so mad about it. It was the last thing.
No, my last thing was Curtis. His trifling self, Ridge Forrester.
Ridge Forrester. So we have 2 Soap Opera Digest big spoilers for next week to get into the preview for next week. We have 2 Soap Opera Digest big spoilers. So the first one was that Nina and Sunny Sunny is going to ask Nina to marry him. If you know me, you know how I feel about that. Clink boom, part 3. Let's go. Did you read the way? Let me see if I can find it. Did you see the way that Sunny or like that they talked to Mo about it? Did you see the way he described it? I was cracking up. Like, bro, what are you saying?
He's like, I'm not saying this is the best proposal I ever made, but it's up there of one of the best. And he's like, I haven't watched the show, but I'm feeling that it's gonna be great. Or I'm gonna tune in or something like that.
What is happening? Let me see if I can find it. It was wild. It wasn't just that, because that was like part of the way he ended it. It was like the whole thing was just like wild from start to finish. Because he like so he starts with, it says, Sunny takes a big step forward in his relationship with Nina when he surprises her with a marriage proposal. According to Sunny's portrayer, Maurice Bernard, his question popping has no secret agenda. quote, he loves her, says Bernard. And I think when she told him that she was cool with him going to the Michael Willow wedding alone, I think that's when he really felt like, or he felt ready. He was like, that chick's cool, man.
She ain't cool.
How romantic, first of all. Like, and then also, why are people acting like it was a big deal? Like, if she can't be a part of Willow's life, that should not mean that she shouldn't want him to be a part of Michael's life. This doesn't even make sense to me. But like it just keeps getting repeated. So then somehow it makes sense to somebody. I don't yuck and yikes.
That's gonna be interesting. I want to see how she kind of weasels out. I don't think she's gonna, like it sounded like in the article, that she's not gonna say yes right away. So I want to hear how she weasels in and out of that. So
Anyway, so that's one thing. And then the second big thing is that Joss is about to be mad with Michael because he's not turning in Sunny.
yeah, I like how, like, we need to talk. And he's like, what?
Joss.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody making no staffing decisions based on who you sleeping with. Okay. Nobody. No side of anybody. Your brother or your former stepfather. Nobody
Right.
cares. But it was
Well,
just again hilarious. I'm like, this is a 19/20-year-old thing to do. And very like she was raised, and I think that that's really interesting. Everybody but Cam was raised to be really self-centered. Like Trina's the only child, Jocelyn's a trust fund baby, Spencer's like an only child trust fund baby. Like Trina doesn't act the way that Spencer and Josh act, but they all were definitely raised to be like self-centered. So the fact that Josh thinks that anybody cares is really taking me out.
but
Like,
like you said, that's 19-year-olds in love. Very myopic in their view on how
yeah.
things.
Shout out to my friends who are Jex fans. I think I was hearing that they think Michael's wrong. I don't think Michael's wrong. I think I don't understand what they ever thought was going to happen, because even if Sonny would go to jail right now, Dex can't just be walking around Port Charles, can he?
Mm-mm.
Everybody gonna be like, "Why didn't you go to jail?"
Right. And he can't never get a job. People aren't going to trust him. They're always going to think that, he has some sort of undercover motive to bring everybody down. I wouldn't hire the man.
No. And going back to Selena Wu and how I'm annoyed that Robert Nim was like tracking her. Like, there used to be 5 families. There are 2 now due to the Jarley wedding. So why is it like anything that Selena's doing is like her and Sunny doing? And so the idea that they would think that Dex could be safe from Selena if he takes down Sunny is actually ridiculous. So again, nobody's thinking straight, everybody's silly. You know, Jex is lucky they got chemistry because they just running on Kim and vibes, very similar to Crew. It's just anyway, breakdown of the week. Monday, Nina vents her frustration. Gladys meets with Selena. Tracy dines with Chase. Jocelyn confronts Michael. Gregory matches wits. So we basically haven't seen Gregory since his ALS diagnosis. We heard about him one time since then from Alexis, which is exactly why I was not interested in Gregory having ALS, because they're not going to be able to tell a full story because nobody cares about Gregory. Tuesday, Sunny is insistent. Ned is grateful. Spencer picks a fight.
Who does he pick a fight with?
Who even knows? Jocelyn updates Trina. Chase makes a romantic gesture. Carly encounters Olivia. Now, this wording makes me think that maybe for once, Olivia sides with her husband.
Maybe, yeah, like, yeah, I don't know.
Because,
Carly, Olivia, as if Olivia's avoiding her or something.
yeah, because it's like Ned is grateful on Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Like and then also later on that day, Carly encounters Olivia. So I wonder if he's great, if Ned is grateful because Olivia believes him.
Right.
I don't know. Wednesday, Ava offers congratulations. So this must be, I would assume that this must be that they get engaged because Tuesday, Sunny's assistant,
Yeah.
Ava offers congratulations. Um, Portia and Jordan clear the air. Okay. Molly or TJ presses Molly.
Uh,
Curtis and Drew catch up. Diane warns Carly.
I think Jordan's gonna spill the beans.
Let's see. Thursday, Christina and Sam have a frank talk. Nina, and so this will be new Christina,
Christina.
huh?
Yeah, like I said, new.
Yeah. Nina is determined. TJ confides in Stella. Curtis surprises Portia. Sunny shares important news. Ooh.
I'm engaged.
This Friday, Diane and Nina clash. Anna seeks out Robert. Drew is suspicious. Ned pleads with Olivia, so maybe she doesn't believe him. Willow's loved ones rally around her.
Is she gonna die? What's
I don't
gonna happen?
know. I'm ready for her to either do or die. You know what I'm saying? I've I've been through enough. I've been through enough. I'm tired of it.
She gets the transplant finally on Friday.
Just I need a miraculous recovery or a sad death. One or the other. I'm actually tired of going through this. You know what I'm saying? I've had enough. I've had enough. It's over. And that's our preview for next week.
Woohoo!
Anya, we talked about all the things pretty thoroughly, I think, actually.
Oh,
Um, I dragged Sunny as I love to do. Um,
we dragged Sunny. We dragged and we
Kurt,
dragged.
mm, mm, mm.
Oh,
So we will see y'all next week. And then the following week, we got crew, or not crew. Ooh, sorry. I'm thinking about I'm looking at my picture of Laura Wright
uh,
for when we went to Crew Live. We have Vanna Live in Sacramento. I'm really excited for that. Um, Maybe I'll do a help me pick my outfit on Instagram. I'm really excited.
okay.
Um, but otherwise we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.